So I'm heading out to a place that is literally in the middle of nowhere, and yet at the center of everything. Oh, the corrugations. Well, good morning. I'm in one of my favourite places. Today you find me in the Northern Territory. It's a little bit overcast, the sun has just come up over the horizon, and over the next few days I'm going to be exploring some places that you may have heard of, some places you've definitely heard of, and perhaps some places you haven't heard of. So stick around. It's overcast, but just look at that sky. This is what I love about the Northern Territory. Yellow grass, red dirt, wide open spaces, and the dirt will just get redder and redder as we progress north. I just love driving through the Outback and watching the scenery go by. Oh, the corrugations are back. Yes indeed, how I love the corrugations. There's something deeply satisfying about setting off at first light and hitting the open road. I'm just happy to be out exploring this amazing country. Well, I'm driving on the Fink Road. Last night I camped at a place called Calgary. There's nothing there except a pub. I recommend, if you're going to stay there, to not stay in one of the rooms, but rather stay in the campground if you can. I stayed there 5 years ago in one of the little dormitory type accommodation rooms, and it was the most disgusting room I've ever come across in my life. I won't go into the details, but it was terrible. But this time around, I camped in the campground, and it was perfect. It was really nice. They even have a pool. I went for a swim. It was great. So Calgary is the first and last pub that you encounter as you enter or leave the Northern Territory. They're just over the border, and I crossed the border yesterday afternoon, and there's nothing before it. There's many hundreds of kilometres of nothingness, and afterwards there's a couple of 100 kilometres of nothingness either. So there really is nothing in the area that I'm driving in now. So as I said, this is the Fink Road, and we are going to have a look at something very interesting. I actually drove past this place 5 years ago, and I didn't know it existed. And it's only recently that I've discovered it, and I thought, oh man, I should have gone in there. So I'm going to go have a look at this place.
The road continues through the flat nothingness, corrugation after corrugation.
Oh, there's some cows on the road. There we go. I've been driving for, oh, it's a bit windy. I've been driving for several hours now and across about 1 billion corrugations, and I came across this burnt out car. Now, what model of car do you think this is? Is it a Holden Commodore? Or is it something else? No, I don't think it is. Nothing left. So when I see this, I straight away think, what caused this to happen? It's not a matter of people stealing the car and setting it on fire a couple of blocks later. This is a long way from anywhere. So this poor guy was traveling and something happened. Who knows what? Maybe people set fire to the car afterwards. Maybe he just ran off the road, his tyres failed right off the road, and then his car was left here and somebody else set fire to it. Who knows? But there you go. The fire did a very, very good job. So I guess that's a word of caution, is make sure your car's in good nick, make sure your tyres aren't overheating, and make sure you regularly stop and check your vehicle, because you don't want to break down out here and you don't want to catch fire out here, or anywhere really.
This is starting to feel really remote. I've been on the road now for 1 week to get to this point. The place I'm going to is not something that is on the way between two places. You specifically need to know about this place and want to get there. So this is feeling really remote.
I've just had 3 kangaroos hop across in front of the car. The last one waited until I was about 10 meters away, and then he decided to hop across the road. So this is a good reminder that early morning it's feeding time for the animals, and I need to be extra cautious, because kangaroos like to just jump out from the middle of nowhere and then race you. I've had a couple of close calls in the past, and so I need to just be extra vigilant at this time of the day. Okay, so the place that I've driven all this way to see is just down that track, 12 kilometres, is 4-wheel drive only. It is known as Lambert Centre. It is the Geographic Centre of Australia.
I find it fantastic that somebody decided to work out where the precise centre of this country is. Apparently there's a marker to pinpoint the exact location, and this is what I'm going to find.
So, let's go check it out. Okay, so 12 kilometres down this track, and it's marked as 4-wheel drive only, is a place known as Lambert Centre. And I've come a very, very long way to see this. And one thing I really like about Australia is there are certain places that are restricted to 4-wheel drive only, and they could have so easily have made this place a sealed road so that, whoa, the corrugations. There are some places in Australia that are still to this day accessible by 4-wheel drive only, and that makes it a little bit more special, because there isn't a sealed road. You don't get mass tourism, and so it takes a lot of effort to get to these places, and a lot of corrugations. Okay, I'm driving in soft sand now. So grass that you can see on either side of the track. That nice, soft, fluffy, green-grey grass is called spinifex for those who are watching this from outside of Australia. And it is anything but fluffy. It is razor sharp and prickly, and like pretty much everything in Australia, whether it's animals or vegetation, is designed to kill you. You don't want to go near these things. Okay, the spinifex won't kill you, but it'll give you a nasty cut. Oh, the corrugations. Oh man. You can't go fast on this track, so I have to just suffer through the corrugations. You know, it's such a pity that there are some places where they are sealing the track so that they can get more tourists through. Now, one of those places is Cape York, up at the very northern tip of Australia. Now, I just hope that I can get up there before they finish sealing the track, because the whole idea behind Cape York is it's 800 kilometres of really challenging four-wheel drive track, and it's really difficult to get to, and only people that have a four-wheel drive can make it. But now they are slowly but surely sealing the road so that they can get busloads of tourists up there. It's so sad, because the allure of such a trip was it is available only to such a limited audience. Anyway, on we go. Corrugation after corrugation through the spinifex, closer to our destination. So it's a bit of an overcast day. I can occasionally see bits of sun through the clouds, but mostly just 100% cloud cover. And just the contrast of the grey sky against the faded green trees and the red dirt, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's a rugged type of beauty, but if you can appreciate it, it's beautiful. Oh, corrugations. These are just about the worst corrugations I've encountered anywhere. Normally the way to beat corrugations is to drive a little bit faster and you're sort of skimming over the top. But you just can't go fast on these tracks. so I'll have to suffer through the corrugations. Occasionally it's okay, like here, but most of the time it's not. Okay, so this is the track has deep grooves in it from the previous vehicles, and you can see that the car is driving itself. Okay, there's one more turn off coming up, and it looks like it's going to be an even smaller track. Yep, okay, I'm on the right track. I keep checking on my navigator here because the tracks, there's a couple of tracks that sort of crisscross every now and then. Oh. Slow isn't any better. I'm now going at about 15 kilometers per hour. Now at 10. Oh wow. No, 10 isn't any better. 20, 30.
If you're wondering, yes, I do have my tyres deflated.
That's about as good as I can make it. 40 kilometers per hour. This really is the middle of nowhere. Both in terms of time and distance. So for many hundreds of kilometers in all directions, there's nothing, absolutely nothing. This is a very remote place. 1 kilometer to go.
1 more kilometer to go before I reach the very center of this continent. I am so looking forward to this.
I wonder if there'll be a pub at the center. That would be the Aussie thing to do, right? Have a pub with cold drinks right at the very center of Australia. That'll be worthwhile to get there then.
So I spend the last kilometer contemplating what kind of drink I'm going to get to quench my thirst when I get to the center of Australia. At this point, I don't care as long as the pub is open.
We are very close now. I'm just looking at my map. We're very, very close. There it is. Ah! Here it is. Wow, we made it. Oh, wow. Let's go have a look. Well, we finally made it. After a billion corrugations, this is the Geographic Centre of Australia. Wow. So the sign here says Lambert Centre is named in honour of Dr. Bruce Philip Lambert OBE 1912 to 1992. As Director of Australia's Division of National Mapping and Chairman of the National Mapping Council from 1951 to 1977, Dr. Lambert was responsible for coordination of national geodetic and levelling surveys, mapping of Australia, the seabed of the continental shelf and the Australian Antarctic Territory. This site is the Geographic Centre of the Australian mainland. It is the most appropriate place to commemorate Dr. Lambert's widespread activities and the achievements in the national field. There we go. This is the Geographic Centre of this beautiful big country. I wonder if somebody came out here to lower that flag half-mast when the Queen passed away. Somehow I don't think so. There we go. So people have been putting padlocks. Oh, look at that. 2019 Northern Territory Variety Bash. The Camel Car 2019. Northern Territory Variety Bash. There we go. Well, there's nothing for it. I'm going to go stand in the very centre of this continent. Right on that. So I'm now standing on the in the very centre of this country, about 1 billion miles away from everywhere. Well, that definitely feels like an achievement. There's a visitor's book. Okay, we have to definitely fill this out. Look at this, placed by the Toyota Land Cruiser Club. I'm a member of that club. 1st of October 2022. I'm the first one here today. Comment worth getting here. Okay, let's head back. Now, unfortunately, the only way of getting out of here is exactly the way I had come, all the way back to Fink Road, and then all the way back to where I had set off from this morning. So that's going to take me another 2 hours. So nothing to it, let's just hit the road. Oh, the corrugations. So there you go, that's the centre of Australia. So on the way back I was driving really slow. I was going at about 15-20 k's an hour, mostly 15. Just really enjoying the scenery, and it got me thinking. I just stopped, and if I spin the camera around, so we've just come down this track here, but if I spin sideways and just start wandering off into the bush. Now imagine this was 200 plus years ago. No roads. Imagine if you're an Aboriginal person wandering through this bush. Now it looks the same in every direction. How do you navigate? How do you know where you are? Perhaps that's why they were nomadic, because they were continually lost. They just wander, they just go. I don't know. But it did make me wonder, how do you find your way around when you can't see more than 20 metres, 30 metres in front of you, and the bush is the same in all directions? This is such a vast country. How do you get from place to place? Maybe you don't. They must have eventually had some recognisable landmarks, but on a day like today where it's cloudy, there's no sun, there's no shadows. How do you navigate? How do you know which direction you're going in? So yeah. Very peaceful place though.
So with that ticked off the bucket list, I'm now making my way back to the main track and heading back to the place I camped last night.
Okay, so this is the Fink Road. I've been coming down from that direction and heading past that way, and as you can see, it goes around a corner. Now, as the road comes in, at this point it widens up to about 6 or 8 times its width, its regular width. You can see how wide that is, and it is dead straight. It goes on for a few kilometres. Super wide. They've maintained the firm centre part of it, but then you've got this extra bit on either side, and then we've got the trees cleared even more on either side. So the only conceivable purpose I can think of for doing this is as an emergency runway. Now, being right in the centre of Australia, think of how many aircraft fly over this part of the country, the dead centre of Australia. So it makes sense to have an emergency landing strip, and this is it. It's about 120 kilometres to Calgary, which is in that direction, and that's where I'm headed. But an emergency landing strip for your Boeing 747 or Airbus or Cessna.
Eventually the red dust gives way to sealed roads. I'm heading north towards my next destination.
I absolutely love the yellow grass and the red soil. It's just so typical of the Northern Territory. I love it. Now, no trip to the Red Centre would be complete without a visit to Uluru. No, that isn't Uluru. That is Mount Connor. It's 820 metres tall. Uluru is still 140 kilometres away, and I've been to Uluru a few times. It's big, but it's not that big from 140 kilometres away. So Uluru is in that direction, and that's where we're headed next.
Thank you so very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next episode.
And that poor old FJ suffered through a billion corrugations and is still going strong.